Welcome, viewers. Today we journey back in time to uncover the hidden truth of an ancient storm. Legends claim a holy wind crushed the Mongol fleet. But was Japan truly saved by the weather alone? The truth is much darker. Before the storm hit, brave samurai fought a bloody war on the sandy shores. They built a massive stone wall to block the huge fleet. Every night, they launched deadly and silent attacks. What broke the greatest empire? Let us dive into the stormy waters of our ancient history. For centuries, a powerful myth echoed through time. Many believed divine gods protected Japan. The great Mongol Empire had conquered half the known world. No army on land could stop their brutal advance. Kublai Khan launched the largest naval invasion on Earth. A massive fleet sailed across the ocean waves. Old tales describe a terrifying storm from heaven. The wind suddenly roared and crushed the wooden ships. In ancient legends, the Kamikaze wind saved Japan. The massive enemy fleet was completely destroyed. Many thought the samurai were just favored by fate. It was deemed a sudden miracle from the sky. Ancient records repeat this simple, comforting myth. It paints the Japanese warriors as passive defenders. They say the gods simply swept the invaders away. Yet history is rarely that simple, or that clean. Scholars now question this popular narrative. Surviving evidence tells a very different tale. If the storm was the only reason for their defeat, why did the mighty Mongols fail twice in 7 years? If you faced a vast army that never lost a war, would you pray for a storm or draw your sharp steel sword? The true story requires us to look past the dark clouds. We must examine the blood spilled on the sandy shores. The Mongol warriors were ruthless and disciplined. They brought advanced weapons to the peaceful islands. They sought to crush resistance and take total control. The Japanese faced an impossible and brutal fight. The myth focuses solely on the violent Typhoon. It ignores the incredible human sacrifice. Let us return to the first strike in 1274. The reality of that battle is quite shocking. The Mongol forces did not just sink in the deep sea. They securely landed upon the Japanese coast. The invaders secured a beachhead in Hakata. They prepared to march inland and conquer the nation. Countless Mongol troops poured onto the muddy beaches. Their numbers threatened to overwhelm the brave defenders. Terrifying drums echoed across the dark ocean. The first brutal clash of steel was about to begin. The Japanese forces were heavily outnumbered. They faced a ruthless enemy from a distant land. The samurai relied on duels and ancient honor. The Mongols used coordinated, massive swarm tactics. Yet the fierce defenders did not surrender or flee. They stood their ground on the bloody and chaotic beach. The myth completely erases this desperate fight. It steals the hard-earned glory from the brave warriors. We must remember the true cost of this fierce conflict. The victory was paid for with immense suffering. The storm arrived only after the battle was won. The timeline of events proves the myth is entirely wrong. Old records show the Mongols retreated to their ships. They were fleeing from the sharp swords of the samurai. The massive army was broken by men, not the wind. Their morale was shattered before the heavy rain fell. The divine wind myth was forged much later in time. It was designed to boost the proud spirit of Japan. Let us unveil the truth of the first invasion. The beach clash was a nightmare of steel and burning fire. It is 1274. The Mongol fleet arrives. They launch devastating attacks on the coastal guards. They bring terrifying new weapons to the islands. Exploding bombs shatter the samurai formations. Explosive blasts create absolute chaos and panic. Horses rear up, throwing men into the bloody mud. Thick black smoke covers the chaotic battlefield. The defenders are pushed back by the relentless assault. Archers unleash a deadly rain of iron arrows. The disciplined troops advance with large, heavy shields. The situation looks hopeless for the brave samurai. Their old tactics fail against the massive army. Yet the proud warriors refuse to yield an inch. They charge directly into the massive enemy lines. Fierce combat erupts along the muddy shoreline. Heavy swords clash against thick leather and iron armor. The samurai fight with a terrifying rage. They are determined to protect their sacred homeland. War records show the casualties were massive. Both sides suffered terrible losses in the brutal fight. The Mongol commanders are shocked by this resistance. They have never faced such fearless opponents. Despite advanced weapons, the invaders cannot break through. Defenders hold the line with their own bodies. As night falls, the mighty Mongol army is exhausted. Their supplies are low, and their morale is broken. Fearing a night ambush, commanders make a fatal choice. They order all their troops to retreat to the ships. This crucial fact destroys the popular ancient myth. The invaders were defeated before the weather changed. The samurai watched from the beach as the enemy fled. They defended their sacred home with a pure courage. Only after the Mongols boarded their ships did the storm hit. A severe typhoon swept through the dangerous bay. Fierce winds battered the crowded retreating vessels. Many wooden ships crashed against the rocky coastline. Thousands of soldiers drowned in the freezing dark water. The sea swallowed the remnants of the broken army. The storm was destructive, but it was just the final blow. The samurai's fierce resistance had won the day. The Mongols survived, but their pride was deeply wounded. Kublai Khan was angry and demanded revenge. He began planning a second, larger invasion. He gathered the greatest armada the world had seen. The Japanese knew the fierce enemy would return soon. They had to prepare for a massive and brutal total war. They could not rely on the grace of the weather. A storm might not save them from a second, larger attack. The Kamakura leaders ordered a massive project. They mobilized the nation for a fierce struggle. Every resource was poured into fortifying the coast. The people worked day and night without proper rest. This period of preparation proves they did not trust fate. They believed in building strong walls and sharp weapons. The true miracle of Japan was a strong national unity. They stood together to face the coming storm. The next 7 years were filled with sweat, blood, and heavy stone. They transformed their gentle beaches into forts. We now move to the year 1281. The massive Mongol fleet returns to finish their brutal work. Proof of human effort stands on the Hakata shore. A massive stone wall stretches for 20 kilometers. This mighty structure is known as the Genko Borui Wall. It was built by thousands of determined men. Day after day, brave men carried stones under the hot sun. They stacked the rough rocks without using any modern tools. This strong barrier was designed to stop the enemy horses. It prevented Mongol cavalry from charging up the beach. In the summer of 1281, the enemy returned. 4,000 massive ships darkened the sea. More than 100,000 brutal soldiers came to fight. It was an overwhelming display of sheer power. Imagine facing a sea of massive warships. Would you hold the wall or surrender to the vast fleet? The commanders expected a glorious victory. They planned to land their army and crush the samurai. But as they approached the shore, they saw the Great Wall. The stone barrier completely blocked their landing zone. Heavy cavalry and siege weapons could not cross the barrier. The invaders were trapped on their wooden ships. Defenders stood proudly behind their stone fortress. They rained sharp arrows upon the frustrated foe. The vast fleet was forced to remain anchored in the open bay. They could not build a safe camp on the dry, firm ground. This brilliant strategy changed the course of history. The massive army was slowly starving on the cold sea. But the samurai did not just wait behind their stone wall. They launched a terrifying counteroffensive. Every night, small, silent boats slipped into the dark sea. They moved swiftly toward the massive enemy warships. These stealth warriors wore light armor for maximum speed. They carried sharp daggers and burning torches. They climbed up the wooden hulls of the giant vessels. They struck with lethal precision while the invaders slept. The night air was filled with sudden screams and burning fire. The silent assassins caused absolute destruction. Many Mongol ships were burned to the waterline in the dark. The invaders lived in constant terror of the night. These bold night raids lasted for nearly 2 brutal months. The samurai exhausted the foreign invaders. Mongol troops suffered from severe seasickness and disease. Their morale plummeted as their supplies disappeared. The invaders were trapped in a floating, terrible hell. They could not move forward, and they could not retreat. The stone wall and the night raids had finally held the line. The Japanese won the battle through unbending will. They held off the largest empire on earth with pure human grit. It was not a victory granted by a lucky wind. Hard evidence shatters the famous Kamikaze Myth. The warriors of Japan saved themselves with blood and stone. In August, after weeks of brutal naval stalemate, the weather finally began to violently shift. The Mongol fleet was already broken and weak. They were sitting targets in the middle of the dark bay. The dark skies above Hakata swirled with heavy clouds. The pressure dropped, signaling an approaching doom. The final act of this drama was about to begin. Nature was preparing to deliver a fatal blow. The trapped invaders looked up at the black horizon. There was nowhere left for the Grand Armada to hide. The samurai watched from the wall as the mighty storm arrived. The true climax of the invasion was happening. A massive typhoon struck the coast with an unearthly fury. The howling wind tore through the wooden ships. Giant waves crashed down like hammers upon the packed armada. The sea became a nightmare of splintered wood. The kamikaze storm arrived to end the war, but it only destroyed an army already trapped. The raging ocean claims the lives of thousands of trapped men. The great fleet is finally broken by the dark storm. Huge wooden ships smash together in the violent dark storm. Thousands of troops drown in the freezing Black Sea. The storm was a brutal killer from the angry sky, but the men were already trapped upon the block. They were locked in the bay by the Great Wall of Stone. They were weakened by the fearful, silent night raids. Japan was not saved by a miracle of nature. They earned their survival through immense blood and pain. If the defenders had run away in pure dark fear, the Mongol troops would have safely camped on dry land. If the invaders had built a strong base on the coast, the typhoon would not have entirely destroyed them. History shows that human courage builds the great fortress. The brave warriors forged their own epic fate. The Kamikaze Myth stole glory from brave soldiers. It replaced a strong defense with a fairy tale. We must remember the men who lifted the stones. We must honor the souls who fought in the cold night. Look closely at the samurai on the stone wall. They watch the Mongol Empire sink into the sea. Their thick armor is soaked with freezing cold rain. They do not flinch before the roaring wind and storm. They are the real shield that protected the island. They are the true wind that shattered the fierce invaders. The great Khan never tried to conquer Japan again. His reputation was completely washed away. The evidence of the stone wall remains today. It stands as a silent witness to an epic war. History turns complex events into magic tales. We love tales of gods saving us from our doom. Relying on the weather is a foolish plan. The shogun understood this harsh reality. They knew preparation would defeat the Mongol hordes. They chose to fight rather than pray for a storm. As the typhoon fades, the sea is filled with broken wood. Bodies of fallen invaders wash on the shore. This tragic scene is a grim reminder of the cost of war. The empire was humbled by human defense. When you hear the story of the great divine wind, remember the heavy stones and sharp samurai blades. Remember the men who fought fiercely in the mud. Remember the warriors who burned ships in the night. The real kamikaze was not a storm from the sky. It was the unyielding, fierce spirit of the people. Their incredible achievement shaped the nation's future. It proved a strong nation can stop any major threat. We must question the myths passed down through ancient time. We must look for evidence buried in the ground. The truth is more complex than a simple fairy tale. Human will is the true force of history. The storm is passing, leaving a changed world behind. Samurai lower their swords on the bloody shore. Looking at the empty sea, they earned their survival. They stand tall, having defeated the grand army. The storm ended the fight, but human will held the line. Did weather or warriors truly win the war? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Was the famous wind legend just a comforting myth? Please hit the like button, share this video, and subscribe to our channel for more epic history.